Yeah, today's data telling us what we already knew, which was that living costs rises are hard for everyone, but underscoring just how bad they are for households on lower incomes. Now, to bring this to life, let's look at a case study. Meet Steve and Tanya, a couple in their 40s with 3 teenage children. Tanya works in a catering role at the local school, and Steve is a full-time carer looking after 2 elderly parents. Steve and Tanya's monthly budget. This is what it looked like a year ago. To understand it, start at the left with the blue bars. As we go up, there is Tanya's salary coming in every month, augmented by government support, universal credit and child support payments. That takes them to about £3,000 a month of income, from which they have to pay tax, rent, bills, including energy bills, of course, and costs of essentials like food and fuel, leaving them last year with about £400 a month of spending money. They're getting by. Wind forward, same family, to this month, and it's a much less rosy picture. Salaries have gone up a little, but look at what's happened to rent, look at what's happened to their energy costs, and look at what's happened to their food bills. As a result, scraping past at best. Let's take those in turn, because there's a lot of families in the same situation. What today's data from the ONS tells us is that something like 40% of families on those modest income levels are finding it hard to keep up with their mortgage and rent payments. And fully 1 in 10 households is already falling behind on their energy bills if they're renting. That's before winter and before prices of energy rise again in April. So we turn to food. A tough picture, particularly for households shopping on a tight budget, because it's the lowest cost foods that have risen in price the most. Just look at what's happened to pasta prices. They've risen for all of us by a third. But the cheapest pasta on the supermarket shelves has gone up 60%. Similarly, sharply risen costs of tea and other staples. So a poorer household like Tanya and Steve's on a lower income is really facing the pinch. But it gets worse. If the current trends continue for a further year, even if the government increases their benefits payments in line with inflation, Tanya and Steve, with rising rent costs, increased energy prices and other costs, are going to be digging themselves into a hole come October next year. And that's the challenge that the new Prime Minister faces. He's told us that he wants to be compassionate. But if compassion costs this household £1,000 a year of extra support, does the government have the capital, does it have the borrowing power to support these households in a time of crisis?